find the sine of theta and the cosine of theta. It's not asking you for the sine of 2 theta. But it's giving you this. Look. It's telling you what the cosine of the double angle is. What do you suppose you're going to do first? Now, come on, you got to use your head here. What are you going to plug into first because of what they're giving you? It'll make perfect sense. What formula do you think you're going to plug into first because of what I just boxed in, what they're giving you? They're giving you the cosine of 2 theta here. They're telling you it equals 3/5. So what do you want to plug that into? I would do this one again. Put it in there. Now watch this. Make sure you're getting this. 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1 is 3/5. They're giving it to you. 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1 equals 3/5. Now, people, pay attention here. Take the -1, throw it on the other side. This is variables left, constants right, just like freshman algebra. What's that going to be over there? -1, throw it on the other side. What's that going to be? Howard?
-2/5.
No. You got to add 1, Howard.
Oh, 8/5.
8/5. Now, watch this. What are you going to do now? You're trying, out of that equation, aren't you going to try to get cosine of theta? Sure, that's one of the things they're asking you for. But you got to do something else to both sides again. I mean, if you had an equation in algebra, that said 2x equaled 8, you'd divide both sides by 2, right? What are you going to do there? Divide both sides by 2, right? Isn't dividing by 2 mean the same as multiply by the reciprocal? So dividing by 2 actually means the same as multiplying 1/2. Does everybody see this? Dividing both sides by 2, doesn't that mean times 1/2? So what is that over there? Reduce it. What is that over there? It's 8/5 times 1/2. Dividing by 2 means the same. Howard?
4/5.
Look at this. Take the square root on both sides. Positive or negative? Positive or negative? Chris?
Positive.
Quadrant 1. So go ahead and take your square root, somebody. Now remember, you can't have radicals in the bottom. Joe?
2 radical 5/5.
Now this is 2 over the square root of 5, but you know you can't have radicals, so this is 2 radical 5 over 5. So there's your first answer. And now you know what to do to finish it, don't you? How are you going to get the other one? My God, you've been doing that more than anything. Look at the directions. Find sine of theta and cosine of theta. Okay, there's cosine of theta. Well, once you know sine or cosine, you get the other one by just, my God, you've done it a million times. How do you get the other one? Come on, you've done it so many times. Once you know a sine or a cosine, how do you get the other one?
Sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared.
Right? Sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared. Watch this, you guys. Look at what I'm circling here. Isn't it easier to square this than to square that? What's cosine squared? That's squared. What's cosine squared? Dave?
4/5.
4/5. What's 1 minus 4/5? Dave? So take your square root on both sides. What's sine of theta? This one's coming out pretty decent. Wrong. Radical 5 over 5. The homework, I'll get to it in a minute. I have one more big thing that's a little different. That 8, 9, and 10 there, just like this. Find sine of theta and cosine of theta for 8, 9, and 10. Now, last thing. Please, somebody, I need someone to be smart enough to remember this. Example number 2. Number 14 is going to be like this. Find the sine of 2x and the cosine of 2x given the tan of x equals 2 and the cosine of x is greater than 0. There. Now, I will write this right on the test paper. Because some of you are going to sit here going, how am I supposed to know to do that? Look what they're giving you here. They're not giving you a sine or a cosine, they're giving you a tan, which kind of screws things up here. On the test, you're going to want to write this down. And I'll write it right in the directions. To do a problem like this, use x, y, and r values. And I know some of you are sitting there going, what the hell are you talking about? Well, I'll tell you right now, because you learned it before. Remember way back at the beginning of trig, it's like one of the first things I taught you. The definitions, remember in terms of x, y, and r? Now maybe off to the side of your problem. I would like write these down again. Now come on, this would be great if one of you can remember this. Who remembers the trig definition for sine in terms of x, y's, and r's? Did you really learn it? Or did you learn it temporarily? Good, there's a lot of you putting your hand up. Adam.
Y over R.
Remember on the unit circle, wasn't any answers for sines always the y? Remember? Rob.
X over R.
And what was tan? Chris?
Y over X.
Now watch this. You should probably off to the side. You know, when you take the test, you're going to say, how am I supposed to know to use values of x and y? I'm going to have it written right on there. It's like that. Okay, here's what they're giving me. Tan of x equals 2. Now, it's just a nice regular number. Technically, it's what over what? As a fraction. Technically. No.
2 over 1.
Right? I mean, these definitions are all in fractions. And what's the trig definition for tangent? Y over x, right? Please, now give me your attention here, because this is the only one that's a little different. What quadrant you in? Got to know that. You always got to know the quadrant, because that tells you if the signs are positive or negative. Look at what I'm telling you here. It says the tan of x is 2. That's a positive number. It also says the cosine of x is greater than 0. So, Mike?
First.
Got to be in the first here. So that's nice, because that means everything's positive. So, right here, what are the values of y and x then? Give me the values of y and x. Just match them up. Alex?
Y is 2.
Y is 2, and x is 1. You with me? I'm almost done. How do you find r if you know x and y? Remember what we did here? And I'll write it down here again. If you know x and y, how do you find r? Over here, I'm going to put it down here. You might want to write this down off to the side. Jack. R squared equals x squared plus y squared. Look. So what's just R? Well, here, let's do it. R squared equals x squared plus y squared. So let's put the numbers in. Watch this. R squared equals what? 1 plus 4. I'm just putting them in. So R squared is 5. So what's R? What's the value of R? Chris? Radical 5. True or false? R is always a positive number. That's true. X and Y could change depending on the quadrant. Now, what am I asking you to find? You're only going to have one problem like this. Right here. This and this. Well, if I'm asking you to find this, there's the formula. And if I'm asking you to find this, there's the formula I'll use. So what's the only thing left to do here, and then all you got to do is plug them in. It's right there. Fellas, look. You know X, you know Y, and you know R. You're set. You can find anything you want in trig. You know the X, Y, and R values. I can't use those formulas until I determine what two things. I can't plug into those formulas until I know what two things. They're right up there, the formulas. Adam.
You know what sine and cosine are?
Exactly. I got to know what sine of X is. I got to know what cosine of X is. What's the trig definition for sine? Y over R. Fellas, you following me here? Y over R. Y over R. So what's sine of X equal? Y over R. Get rid of the radical. 2 over radical 5. So what's this equal? There's sine of X. Dave?
2 radical 5 over 5.
And what's the trig definition for cosine? It's X over R. 1 over radical 5 equals radical 5 over 5. Now, you guys, do you see what the only thing left to do is then? Plug in these two things into the two. Look what they're asking you to find there. Sine of 2x and cosine of 2x. So this is going to be 2 times 2 radical 5 over 5 times radical 5 over 5. Now all I'm doing is plugging them in. So what's this going to be here? 2 times 2 is 4. Radical 5 times radical 5 is 5, right? So isn't this 20 25ths? Boys, do you see that? Radical 5 times radical 5 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So it's 20 25ths, which reduces to 4/5. So there's that. And then the cosine of the double angle is 2 times cosine squared. Here. Square that. What do you get? Cosine squared. There's cosine. Square that. What do you get? Noble.
5 25ths or 1/5.
1/5. So 2 times 1/5 minus 1. 2 times 1/5 is 2/5 minus 1, which is 2/5 minus 1. Common denominator. Howard?
Negative 3/5.
All right, take your iPad out. Let me give you the directions here. Fellas, listen to me. Tomorrow, I'm not doing anything new tomorrow. I'm going to go through all this stuff one final time like I normally do the day before a test, and I'll outline everything how it's going to be. Now, your homework, go to page 218 in your textbook. Let me show you how this homework's going to be. Over here. Well, actually, here, let me do this first. In number 9 here, this is is gonna be quadrant 2. In a minute here, I'll get out of the way, you can take a picture of this. And number 10, this is gonna be quadrant 2. Go to page 218 in your book. Is somebody there yet? What quadrant does it say for number 8? Go to page 218, everyone.
3.
3? This one? Okay, now you see this 8, 9, and 10? Just use the stuff they're giving you in your book. This 8, 9, and 10, you're going to find just sine of theta and cosine. Guys, this 8, 9, and 10, just like this one. Just like this one. But in number 14, can one of you tell me what quadrant 14 has to be in? Look in your book. With the stuff they're giving you? Yeah. That's right. All right, now hold on, I'll get out of the way here. And then when you do 14, you're going to find those two things, which is using the x, y's, and r's. Go, you'll probably want to take a picture of that too. There's your homework.